Slasher, Ripper. Yes, again, more pools of blood. We're getting into it here. Done lots of reviews now with movies, and now a show with lots of pools of blood to be had. So we're definitely enjoying things, kicking horror into full gear here. So this is a new series on Shudder, following several other versions of the slasher story here. I guess it started off on, I guess it's gone through a different couple of things. I think it was on Netflix, I think it was on something before, and now I think the previous version to this was also on Shudder. So it's kind of different episode series here that's landed a couple of different places, and obviously is now in everybody's favorite home for horror and Shudder. And so hopefully you're a fan of the series or familiar with the series. But basically it is a little combination of mystery. There's always a killer, and it's going to be a mystery of who that is, and it's going to be hard to figure out. It'll probably open the door to a couple of choices, and as it kind of goes on, you'll see those choices kind of dwindle, and you'll be like, I knew it was that person, and then you'll see that it's not that person, and you'll be like, damn. So that's kind of part of it. The other part of the series that for me is also exciting is obviously the blood and guts, and there's definitely going to be lots of killing. There's always many characters that die in this. Again, another reason why that list of who it is going to dwindle is because they're likely that person on your list is going to end up dead if they're not the killer. So many a character to be killed, lots of people to be killed. It's usually brutal and it's usually bloody, so that is a fun times. I usually read off the IMDb plot here, not really on IMDb as far as I saw, so there is a long description here from Shudder. I'll just kind of brief through it to kind of give you the take of it here. Slasher, Ripper, takes the slasher franchise back in time to the 19th century as Basil Garvey, a charismatic tycoon whose success is only rivaled by his ruthlessness, as he oversees a city on the cusp of a new century and a social upheaval that will see its streets red with blood. There's a killer stalking the mean streets, but instead of targeting poor and downtrodden like Jack the Ripper, the widow is meting out justice against the rich and powerful, and we'll kind of leave it at that. All that nonsense basically means that yes, the killer in this one is the widow. As you've seen, the killer kind of has a theme or a cool name, a nickname through the others of the series. So this time it is the widow. This time we don't really get to see the widow's face. Is kind of covered like a widow would, a grieving widow would. And in some of the other ones, we've had some killers with some really cool masks. So this time it's just basically covering her face with I forgot what you call it, but whatever is covered. So not really a cool mask this time, but definitely plenty of mystery there, and she does stay well hidden. And this one also is the first time we kind of go back in time, as was mentioned there. So we have that going forward. So a couple of different things. There will be a couple of familiar faces that you may recognize from other shows and movies and so forth. I'm not going to dive too much into that. That's kind of going to lead the way of not necessarily. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil things or give you clues or anything like that. You just kind of put the mystery together yourself and see it. But yeah, the widow is out for revenge. I think it was on 7 people, but probably kills more. You'll find out kind of more about the events that really set everything off. Probably obviously in the back half of the series. I don't remember how many episodes it was, maybe 8, 9, close to 10 episodes, all maybe 45, 50 minutes, give or take. But yeah, it's going to slowly kind of introduce some characters, kind of give you the sign of the times there. There's definitely some strange characters. There are some poor characters, some rich characters. They butt heads. There's, as mentioned, Basil Garvey. He's kind of the rich guy that runs the town without being the actual mayor or anything, but basically everybody's afraid of him, and he kind of runs the town and gets what he wants. And things don't go his way, he either has a henchman or money to kind of make things go his way. And the killings are going to start. People are going to know that there's a widow out there killing. There's going to be a police force and a main detective out trying to solve the case. There's also a coroner that he kind of consults with. You kind of go into her lab. Remember, this is back in, in the day, so you're going to have some interesting experiments and the way they dealt with people and experimenting and dead bodies and so forth. So this is some good scenes there in the coroner's office, definitely to enjoy. But yeah, it's going to be a mystery that the detective is going to try to solve. You're going to try to solve along with it. I'm going to go out and say, without, I'm obviously not going to tell you who the killer is. I'm going to say it's very hard to figure it out unless I missed it along the way. It's kind of one of those things where, like I said, they present a lot of the characters to you and you get to see. And again, unless I missed it along the line, you don't really know that this person is there until, later on. Again, I might have missed it. I'm not going to say that my face was glued to the screen the entire time, as you guys know, but certainly if they were introduced at some point before I missed it, that might give you some clue to who the killer is. I don't know. I'm not trying to ruin it for you. But saying I missed it is not a big thing, and I'm not the best detective here, even though I should be. I watch plenty of these weird detective shows, but anyway, so I thought it was a fairly hard one to figure out. Always when I think once they reveal the killer, one of the things I always think about, kind of the same way I think of Scream, once they kind of reveal the character. The person who's ghost-faced, or the people that are usually ghost-faced, could they have really done what they did? Obviously, it's very easy for the widow to do certain things when you don't know who that person is, how strong they are, what they look like they're capable of and not capable of, and you try not to judge and so forth. But I would say once this person is revealed, and you will find out who it is. Again, I'm not maybe necessarily buying that they did everything they did in the show, but again, that's kind of one of those things where you just kind of let it slide because you don't know who it is when they did it, so you're supposed to have kind of forgotten in a way by the time it is that person. I don't know. I always kind of go back. That's one of the issues with the Ghostface killers, whenever they always reveal. I'm always like, well, they don't always declare who it is that they killed, but sometimes I'm like, well, if it was that person, there's no way that person did that, so it had to be the other one. So kind of looking back at who this killer is, and then some of the kills there, I'm like, yeah, did that person really do that? I guess in this one they use the more of sneaking up and fear than having to be totally physical. But there's still things I question. But whatever, it's not a huge swipe here. I guess you can question a lot of things here and there with the way with the killers and all these series episodes and so forth. But yeah, I again, this is a case of a formula, and it is a very similar formula to some of the other ones, and it just is a formula that works. I mean, why not do a little combination of mystery? It is titled slasher. We, from a lot of us horror fans like our slashers. So why not? This is not, this is one that you're getting for a couple of episodes and to enjoy, and it's not, a franchise thing where, the widow is going to come back over and over. If they do it again, it will be some other person or theme of killer. But this is a formula that's worked for them, and I've enjoyed it. I know I reviewed some of the ones, if not, I don't know how I reviewed it. Again, like I said, this franchise kind of jumped from different networks. I think I did one review of the ones that were on Netflix altogether, and then I think the previous one I did a separate review for. So there might be scattered reviews for the slasher overall. So I think I've seen them all. And like I said, it is a formula that works. Mystery, guessing who the killer is, doing what a slasher does and kill and give you good kills, give you brutal kills. Some will work for you, some might not work for you. But I think that sometimes it is about the blood and guts, and that you get some of that here, but it's also just in the force and just the creepiness of the widow and how she appears here and there, and there are scenes where characters are looking over their shoulder for her, but is she there, is she not there? As it kind of gets a little further into it, there's scenes where you think, is she back there, is she not? Is she watching this character or not? Characters are watching their backs. So it can get a little, complicated here on who these characters are and how they're all connected. But that's what they're doing here. They're trying to give you more characters to kind of give you confused and kind of give you guessing at who this killer, who the widow eventually is, and so forth. Crazy ending. Definitely was a crazy ending. Again, I'm not going to tell you what it is for you guys to see. Some parts you might not expect, and some you probably do expect. So it's kind of fitting and kind of maybe surprising, and then so it'll be up to you guys to kind of decide if you liked it or not. Always fun. I tell you, I had obviously no clue who the widow was. All my choices went downhill by the end of this one. So with that, if you have not seen it, again, it is on Shudder. Definitely recommend it. I even recommend going back if you were a slasher fan, that kind of thing, and it's not all blood and guts. Like I said, there's a great mystery to it and a story to be told and character development and so forth. So it's just not all of people dying and stuff. But if you're a fan of slashers and that kind of thing, I definitely recommend you go back and watch whatever version's still on Shudder, and if the other version's on Netflix or wherever it is, definitely check them all out. I'm going to give this one 3.5 pools of blood. I'm not going to say it was my favorite of the series. Off the top of my head, I really don't know. I have to go back and revisit them all. But I'm going to give it 3.5 pools of blood. Sticking with what it does well, and putting together a good story and everything along with it. So definitely recommend you guys check it out if you haven't. And again, that is 3.5 pools of blood out of 5. So horrorsquaredreviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written and video. But if you're just interested in the video reviews, obviously subscribe, like, notifications on, and all that kind of crazy stuff that everybody wants to do. If not, no problem. I'm trying to entertain you guys in other ways with doing these shorts. Having a fun time with that as well. So definitely check that out. Something else that you may want to subscribe to. I don't know. But if not, Twitter, Facebook, also down below. You can find me there. And talk horror there. Talk about if there's something you want me to review, or if not, what it is, what it is. I know a lot of people are jumping off some of the social media stuff, so we'll see. And in the comment section down below as well, if you've seen some of the other slashers, how do they compare to this one, or which one is your favorite so far, and what you thought of this movie, or I should say show, not movie. What if you thought of the series, and should there be more? I say do it again, run it back. Why not? So with that, I guess I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.